Between 2010 and 2012, Macquarie University led a project that was funded by the OLT.
The My HIA dashboard is your HIA control centre, where you can update your member profile and keep a record of all the business information that's attached to your HIA membership. As a member, you can access the My HIA dashboard by logging in using the Login button, located at the top right-hand corner of every page on the HIA website.
Have you done this sort of procedure before?
Yes, I have. And this time around I will have my consultant here to observe the whole procedure. So
I have every confidence in his abilities, and I'll be watching the entire procedure, so there is no need to worry. When you start the procedure, I want you to talk me through everything. I won't interrupt unless you specifically ask me to.
Okay. I have a sterile pre-packed level process out there.
Which is not your traditional way of thinking about assessing in mathematics at the undergraduate level. This particular guide gives insights as to how the rubric can be used and how you can apply it in your own unit or subject that you are teaching.
I have since realised that I put a lot of pressure on myself. I get a bit uncomfortable with large groups of people, so the exam that day was really horrible. I totally messed it up. I couldn't concentrate and I actually left early, and yeah, I got a really bad result.
We've been successful in putting 3 teachers through accreditation this year already, and I have another 2 about to be accredited. And I think that doing that process and looking at all the different ways your school can help them is super important, because they are our future teachers and we want them to be capable and able to be in our classrooms.
Some of the more negative comments from colleagues, even though they were intended to be constructive, simply serve to undermine people's confidence. Well, as for bland positives, well, they can be a waste of time too.
Well, last semester I observed some colleagues, but they were not willing to open themselves and receive feedback.
In the second year, there's a further unit in accounting and information systems directly related to accounting.
ACCG 250 Accounting Systems Design is a unit that gives the students an appreciation of applications of information systems.
The next layer describes the process of conducting peer review, and on the outer layer we have leadership elements of peer review, such as culture, structure and processes.
Getting the equipment from the CSIRO was probably the best part, mainly because this equipment isn't available anywhere else. These cells, they're not available to industry, they're not available to residential use, and the fact that we're allowed to get them, we're the only university in Australia that uses them currently, is pretty special.
But learning to be able to cope with difficult open-ended problems is probably the most important thing.
Because I've learnt from home that you should never contradict someone more senior than you. Then I get home and I stay up all night trying to find a way to keep them both happy. And now my primary supervisor has said he can't work with me if I don't do what he says. But how can I disrespect my other supervisor? I don't know who to talk to about this.
The energy interactions right down at the level of the atoms on these proteins, and see where they're going to lock in and how they're actually going to affect their action. So, and in biology's been using statistics for a long time. Psychology uses statistics. All of these different areas need that, and in biology it's got even more, an even bigger need for quantitative skills.
Students created this scholarly tone through her use of language and through her referencing and her style of citations. And that means that what it's done is create her voice, a distinct voice for herself, as the reader and respondent and critical respondent to this article. She's referenced other people's work carefully. It's very clear where she's drawn her ideas from.
I live at home with my family. My house is fairly close to the campus, so it's really easy just to stay at home and travel.
We were able to put the language on after the language book sort of dictionary came out, so that was my reference. And I think with Beck's design, she just knew how to put the colours out brightly. I think I explained it and well enough for her to just bring it right out.
When we designed the resources, we wanted them to be practical, flexible and useful. But above all, we wanted them to encourage people to engage in the peer review of teaching.